Welcome to another explainer. Look, if you're a fresh mechanical engineering grad in India right now, you know the job market can feel like an absolute maze. You've got the degree, you somehow survived thermodynamics and fluid mechanics. Congrats on that, by the way. But now comes the ultimate question, right? How on earth do you get your foot in the door without being asked for 5 years of experience you obviously don't have? Well, today, we're looking at a highly specific golden opportunity that's actively seeking fresh talent. We're breaking down the Graduate Trainee Engineer position at VRV Aircon. Okay, let's dive into this and map out exactly what this role is, what they're looking for, and how you can claim it for yourself.
So here's our roadmap for today. We've got a structured breakdown of everything you need. First, the VRV Aircon opportunity itself. Second, your actual role on the ground. Third, the essential skills and requirements. Fourth, your future career path. And finally, the exact execution blueprint on how to apply. Let's get straight to it.
Section 1. The VRV Aircon Opportunity, Bridging Theory and Practice. This is a full-time role designed specifically for freshers with 0 to 1 year of experience.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the highly competitive starting package. We're looking at between 3 lakhs and 3.5 lakhs per annum CTC. But the way you need to look at this isn't just as a paycheck. You're essentially getting paid to learn. This is basically an intensive training ground, and the practical exposure you gain in those first 12 months, that's going to exponentially increase your market value.
And what exactly is that market? Well, you'll be stepping into the HVAC industry. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Sounds straightforward, right? But think about the sheer scale for a second. We aren't talking about installing a little window AC unit in a bedroom. No way. We're talking about massive commercial infrastructure. Shopping malls, towering skyscrapers, sprawling hospital complexes, massive data centers. None of these modern marvels can function without complex industrial-scale HVAC systems. It's a rapidly growing sector, and there's just this constant, massive demand for skilled mechanical engineers who actually understand how to move air and manage thermal dynamics on a giant scale.
And because the infrastructure boom in India is literally happening everywhere, your work will be everywhere. VRV Aircon specifically notes that this role involves ongoing and upcoming projects all across India. So you're not going to be chained to a cubicle staring at a screen all day. This role requires travel. It requires you to pack your bags and go exactly where these massive projects are being built. It's a super dynamic environment, and it guarantees you're going to see different project scales, totally different regional challenges, and just completely different working cultures across the whole country.
Moving right along to Section 2, your role on the ground, the gritty reality of the job. Because we're shifting from the offer to the actual execution now. So, I have to ask you directly, are you ready for site execution? Because, let me tell you, site execution is a completely different beast compared to just sitting in a quiet lecture hall. On-site, it's loud, it's dusty, timelines are super tight, and honestly, things rarely go exactly as they were perfectly drawn out on paper. You'll be working right alongside experienced professionals, contractors, technicians, veteran engineers. You've got to be prepared to get your boots dirty, to be on your feet all day, and to actively problem solve in real time. Let's break down those daily responsibilities. You'll literally be assisting in the actual installation and commissioning of these massive HVAC systems. A huge part of your day is going to be deciphering complex technical and mechanical drawings and then translating those blueprints into physical reality. Plus, you aren't just working with machines, you're working with people. You'll be coordinating with diverse project teams, external vendors, and contractors. You'll monitor project progress to make sure deadlines are actually met, maintain all that vital documentation, and above all, ensure strict safety and quality standards are followed to the letter. This isn't just engineering, guys. This is hands-on, real-world project management training.
All right, Section 3, Essential Skills and Requirements, What it takes to succeed. Because VRV Aircon is definitely looking for some very specific technical and behavioral traits here.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what HR is looking for when they hire a fresher. Notice the mandatory requirements on the left. They're all soft skills and attitude markers. Are you eager to learn? Are you passionate about the industry? Are you ready for actual site experience and, crucially, willing to relocate? Look, they can teach you the technical details, but they absolutely cannot teach you hustle and adaptability. Now take a look at the beneficial bonuses on the right. If you have a solid grasp of thermodynamics and heat transfer, if you're familiar with AutoCAD, or if you can comfortably read mechanical drawings and use MS Office, well, those are the technical edges that will literally push your resume right to the very top of the pile.
But beyond just those immediate skills, VRV Aircon highlights something super vital. They specifically want candidates who are interested in long-term career growth. They aren't just looking for someone who wants a quick 6-month stint just to pad out their resume. Investing in a fresh graduate takes a massive amount of company resources, time, and money. They want to know that if they train you, you're truly committed to building a serious, long-term future in the HVAC industry right alongside them.
Which brings us to Section 4, your future career path, the upward trajectory. Let's look at exactly where this initial hustle actually leads.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the career ladder in the HVAC industry is incredibly clear, and it's highly rewarding. You start at Step 1 as a graduate trainee engineer, basically just absorbing everything like a sponge. Once you prove your competence on site, boom, you graduate to Step 2. You become a full-fledged site or project engineer, taking on way more independent responsibility. From there, Step 3 kind of branches out. You can become a senior project engineer running massive installations, or, pivot slightly into an HVAC design engineer role if you prefer the technical planning side of things. Ultimately, Step 4 leads to becoming a project manager or even an operations and facility manager, where you're directing multiple sites, huge budgets, and large teams. The hustle you put in on day 1, that directly fuels this entire climb.
Okay, the final stretch. Section 5, how to apply today. This is your execution blueprint, and precision right here is absolutely critical.
Please do not stumble at the finish line by sending a lazy application. Before you hit send, check your resume against these absolute must-haves. Make sure your educational qualifications are crystal clear, but more importantly, as a fresher, your experience comes from your schooling, right? So highlight any internships you've done, no matter how brief they were. Detail your academic projects, especially if they involve thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, or CAD design. Clearly list out your technical skills. And lastly, and this is a big one, explicitly state in your resume your willingness to travel and work on project sites across India. Make it literally impossible for them to guess if you're ready for the travel. Just tell them.
So the crucial point is this exact subject line right here. You must use this when you email your resume. Application for Graduate Trainee Engineer Mechanical. Think of this as your very first test of following directions. HR departments receive hundreds, maybe thousands of emails a day. If you leave the subject line blank or write something super generic like resume for job, your application is probably going to get filtered out by an automated system before a human eye ever even sees it. Copy this exact.
Once your resume is fully polished and your subject line is perfect, here is exactly where you send it. The HR email is hr@vvvercon.com, and they've also generously provided a direct contact number, +91 7499 986 302. Don't wait around on this, guys. The absolute best opportunities always go to the candidates who take immediate, decisive action.
Which leaves us with one final thought. The infrastructure is being built, the industry is absolutely booming, and the entry-level door is wide open for those willing to do the hard work. So, will you take the leap into the HVAC industry today? Get your resumes updated and send them out. Also, be sure to check the social links provided in the source notes to follow the original poster for regular updates, suggestions, and even more career collaborations. That wraps up our explainer on the VRV Aircon graduate training opportunity. Good luck, stay focused, and go build your career.